The sky turned red dot not from sunset, but from fire dot above the alien world of Draction. The stars disappeared behind black smoke. Giant trees cracked like toothpicks. Mountains trembled. Birds fled. And from the center of the planet's wildest jungle came a sound that froze hearts across the galaxy. Roar dot, it was deep, loud, angry dot, and ancient dot aliens called it Tharnuk the Ender, the most feared creature in all the systems. Bigger than any ship, stronger than any bomb. And worst of all, it couldn't be killed. No army had stopped it. No trap had caught it dot, and now it was awake again. High in orbit, a rescue ship carrying diplomats, scientists, and families tried to land on Draction, but it got caught in the energy storm caused by Tharnuk's return. The ship broke in midair, scattering pieces across the jungle. Many died, but one small pod, deep inside the cargo bay, stayed whole. Inside it, a little human boy opened his eyes. His name was Eli, just 8 years old. He had soft brown hair, wide eyes, and a quiet heart. He didn't cry when the pod crashed. He didn't scream when smoke filled the air. He just unbuckled his seatbelt, grabbed his small backpack, and stepped outside. The jungle was strange. The plants glowed blue. The ground hummed like a song. The air smelled like metal and flowers. But Eli didn't seem scared. He looked around. "Mom? Dad?" He called softly. No answer. Only the wind. And then the earth shook. Boom, boom, boom. Trees snapped in the distance. Something huge was coming. Eli didn't run. He stared through the thick vines. Then he saw it. A giant shadow moved between the trees. Eyes like suns, scales like black stone, long wings folded across its back, claws like buildings, a neck that stretched above the treetops. It was Tharnuk. Every instinct said run, hide, scream, but Eli didn't. He stepped closer. The dragon roared again, louder this time. Birds fell from the sky. Trees bent backward. Even the clouds seemed to move away from its voice. Far away, hidden alien scouts watched in horror through satellite cameras. One officer shouted, "There's a human child down there." "He's right. In the path of the dragon." Another alien cried, "Evacuate him. He'll be burned alive." But no one could move fast enough. Eli stood still, his small body barely reaching the dragon's ankle. Tharnuk paused. His nostrils flared. He smelled something. Something different. He looked down and saw the boy. The world held its breath. Eli tilted his head. "Are you angry?" he asked softly. Tharnuk blinked. No one had spoken to him like that in thousands of years. The dragon lowered its massive head. Closer. Closer. Its breath was hot, like fire. Its mouth could swallow 10 men whole. But Eli didn't back away. Instead, he took a step forward. "You're not bad," he said. Silence. The dragon's golden eyes narrowed. Its tail twitched. One flap of those wings could destroy a city. Still, Eli did not run. From the bush, a camera drone captured the moment. Broadcasted live to space stations, battle cruisers, and war rooms. Everyone watched. Every screen on every world showed a single scene. A human boy, facing the deadliest alien beast. Alone. Then something happened. Tharnuk leaned down. So close that Eli could touch his nose. And he did. With gentle fingers, the child placed his hand on the dragon's scaly snout. The heat vanished. The shaking stopped. And Eli said, in a soft whisper that somehow reached even the stars, "You look lonely." No one could believe it. The monster didn't attack. It didn't roar. It simply closed its eyes. Eli smiled. He reached up and kissed the dragon's nose. The moment froze in time. Even the stars above seemed to pause. And far above, in the Galactic, Command station. A general stood up slowly. His voice cracked with disbelief. He just kissed it. Asterisk, the dragon blinked first. The world expected fire, explosions, death, but what followed was silence. Not a silence of peace, but confusion. Shock. Even the trees seemed to hesitate, unsure whether they were witnessing a dream or a miracle. Tarinok, the destroyer of fleets, knelt. Not crushed. Not forced, but calm. And in front of him stood a boy no taller than his claw. Eli took a deep breath. He could still feel the dragon's heat on his skin, like standing too close to a furnace. His heart should have been pounding, but it wasn't. He wasn't afraid. He felt something else. Curiosity. I think you're hurt, Eli said gently. Inside? Tharnak tilted his head. His golden eye blinked again. A sound came from his throat, a deep, low rumble. Not a roar. Not a growl. Something between a sigh and a question. High above, in the observation chamber of a star cruiser, alien commanders stared in silence. He's communicating with it, whispered Commander Rail, a thin blue-skinned elder of the Zilari. That's impossible. Another barked. Tharnak was built for one purpose: destruction. It has no mind to reason with. But even the machines were silent now. Satellites scanned Tharnak's body. The usual war signatures: flaring heat, plasma buildup, muscle tension were gone. A calm had taken their place. A stillness. One only seen in peace. Get me a translator drone, Rail ordered. Now. Back on the jungle floor, Eli sat on a broken root. The dragon curled its tail slowly around the edge of a crater, resting its massive head just a few feet away. He pulled out a tiny box from his backpack, crackers and dried fruit. I was saving this for later, Eli mumbled, chewing. But you probably eat whole trees, huh? Tharnak didn't move. He just watched, like he was trying to understand the strange creature in front of him. No weapons. No fear. Just calm. Eli looked up. You're not bad. You're just different. His voice cracked a little. My dad said different doesn't mean dangerous. A pause. He died yesterday, Eli added, quieter. In the crash, the dragon's eye shifted just slightly. Not with understanding, but with attention. Something about those words stayed in the air longer than they should have. As if the jungle itself was listening now. In the command ship, sensors lit up. Tharnak's neural readings were shifting. Fast. He's forming a bond, said one technician. This isn't just interaction. It's imprinting. Aliens who had studied Tharnak for centuries now stood speechless. A creature that had burned moons was showing patience, and all it took was a single human child. Back below, Eli leaned forward and asked, Do you have a name? Or did they just call you monster? The dragon turned its massive head slightly. From deep inside its chest, a sound began to form. Not a roar, not a growl, but a hum. It shook the ground like distant thunder. Low, ancient, almost like music from a time before language. Eli smiled. I'll call you Tar, he whispered. And then something strange happened. A soft glow, pale and blue, shimmered around Tharnak's chest, right where Eli had kissed him. The glow spread like light through water. Eli reached out again. Can I stay here with you? Just for a while? Tharnak didn't answer with words. But slowly his wings opened, just a little, and the jungle wind moved around them both like a slow dance. In the command deck, one officer whispered what no one else dared to say. The boy has tamed the Ender. Asterisk, it wasn't just a kiss. It was a moment the galaxy would never forget. A single boy, a single dragon, and in that instant, everything changed. All over the galaxy, on ships, colonies, and moon screens flickered. The boy leaned forward. He pressed his lips gently to the dragon's enormous, battle-scarred nose dot, and the universe seemed to hold its breath, not just because of what he did, but because of what happened next. Tharnok's body miles, long and covered in scales as dark as night, shimmered dot. The place where Eli kissed him pulsed with a soft, golden blue light. That light didn't stop. It spread, like ripples in water. It flowed across Tharnok's massive frame, his horns, his wings, his tail. The glow wasn't hot, it wasn't violent, it was warm, gentle, being wrapped in something old and kind. In the skies above, alien admirals gasped. Many fell silent. Others dropped to their knees. No weapon did this, Commander Rail whispered. No army, just love. Tharnok made a sound no one had heard before. Not a roar, not a growl. It was almost a whimper. The dragon, the creature known for melting fleets and devouring cities, was trembling, and water dripped from the corners of its eyes. Not blood, not venom. Tears. Eli stepped back, blinking. Are you crying? He asked softly. The dragon didn't answer. It just rested its great head beside the boy, its eye looking straight into his soul. Eli touched the glowing spot again and whispered, It's okay. You're not alone now. Far across space, in a sealed council room on the planet Verin 3, an emergency meeting had begun. We must stop this, shouted a furious general. It's bonding with him. The human is dangerous. An alien elder stood up calmly. No, we are the dangerous ones. We taught it war, that boy. Taught it peace. There was silence, for once. Not even politics could explain away what the galaxy had just seen. Back on Draction, the jungle had fallen quiet. The animals had stopped running. The air, once filled with the crackle of fire, now felt calm. Eli sat beside the great beast's cheek. It was warm like sun-soaked stone. I don't know what you are, he said quietly, but I know what you're not. He looked up at the stars, then back at Tharnok. You're not evil. Tharnok closed his eyes again, not in sleep, not in trust. On the edge of the jungle, a hidden drone camera zoomed in. The image it captured became history. A boy, barely 8 years old, resting his hand gently on the nose of a dragon that had brought galaxies to their knees. And for the first time in known memory, Tharnok didn't roar. He purred. They called it impossible. A myth. A glitch in nature. A mistake that couldn't last. But it was real. A boy and a beast linked not by chains, but by choice. And the galaxy trembled. In the ruins of the fallen rescue ship, emergency beacons finally lit. The faint signals reached orbit, bouncing through dust and static. Inside the command ship circling Draction, alarms blinked red. He's still alive, the tech officer whispered, eyes wide. The boy survived, and he's with Tharnok. No, Rael said coldly. He's not with the beast. He's bonded to it. The room went silent. Begin extraction, one general ordered, but someone else, quiet until now, said firmly, No, watch. Down in the jungle, Eli was fast asleep, his head resting against Tharnok's warm shoulder, like a child curled beside a giant cat. And the dragon was watching the sky. Waiting. For a creature born in labs, bred for war, and trained in destruction. Waiting was unnatural. Yet here he was. Still. Calm. And beneath his heavy eyelids burned something ancient. Loyalty. To one life. The boy. A scout drone crept forward, barely the size of a bee. It zoomed in on the two resting forms, quietly collecting data. But before it could scan, Tharnok's eye opened. A single pulse of heat fried the drone in midair. Not enough to destroy anything else. Just enough to say, Stay away. Across the stars, ancient alien libraries lit up with forgotten texts. Elder races whispered words not spoken in centuries. Soul marking, The chosen bond between innocence and chaos, forged without words, deeper than blood. Many believed it was legend. Now, it was undeniable. Back on Earth, human scientists studied the footage in disbelief. He could command it, one whispered. He's emotionally bonded. Do you understand what this means? It's not a weapon. Another replied. But if someone else tries to use the boy to control it? The room froze. Everyone knew. If someone stole that bond, they'd rule the galaxy. But the boy didn't care about that. He just wanted to go home. He stirred beneath the dragons, wing and yawned. Are you hungry? He asked. Tharnak blinked slowly. Me too, Eli said, pulling a broken snack bar from his backpack. Want half? The dragon tilted his head. Eli placed the tiny bar gently on the ground, in front of the massive creature. Tharnak lowered his snout, and let out a soft, strange sound. A laugh. Far away, an alien intelligence expert turned pale. If that beast has emotions now, it's no longer a biological weapon. It's a living, evolving force. What do we do? Someone asked. The response was cold. We don't ask what to do with the boy. We ask, what will the dragon do for him? In orbit, Counselor Rail leaned forward, staring at the glowing bond mark on Tharnak's chest. This shouldn't exist, he whispered, but it did, and it was beautiful. Asterisk, the peace was broken by fire. They didn't come with words. They came with weapons. Above the jungle, dropships screamed through the clouds, blades slicing the mist, engines roaring like war drums. The ground trembled again, not from Tharnak's power, but from fear trying to return. Inside one of the lead ships, Counselor Rail stared at the screen, jaw tight. He's just a child, one officer whispered. Rail didn't look away. Yes, a child with the loyalty of a galaxy killer. That makes him more dangerous than any general. The mission was clear. Separate the boy. At any cost. On the forest floor, Eli sat on a boulder, humming softly while Tharnak rested nearby. The great dragon had coiled around him like a fortress of living scale and muscle. Its wings folded gently over trees, its eyes half closed. But inside awake, watching. Eli played with a small stone, scratching shapes into the dirt. Do you have dreams, Tar? He asked. Tharnak didn't answer with words, but a low, soft pulse hummed in the air, a sound full of memory. Eli smiled. I think you dream of flying, real flying, not running, not war. Then the sky shattered. Explosions thundered as nets, dropped from above glowing with electric threads. Soldiers in exosuits landed hard, shouting orders in alien tongues. Drones lit up the jungle with blinding lights. Eli stood up fast, eyes wide. What's happening? A voice boomed from a loudspeaker. Step away from the creature. You are under protective custody. Tharnak's eyes opened gold, turned to red. He rose. Massive. Silent. Deadly. The first soldier moved toward Eli, arm stretched. Take another step. The field captain warned through combs. And the beast, but the words died, because the beast had already moved. With a single flap of his wings, Tharnak knocked trees from the ground. A shockwave threw half the soldiers into the air. The jungle lit up with flame, but not destruction. Precision. Control. Eli screamed. Stop. Please, don't hurt them. And Tar and OK froze. Mid roar. Mid swipe. He turned his head and looked. Only at the boy. The soldiers stared, breathless. He wasn't attacking because he wanted to. He was protecting. Obeying. Listening. To a child. Counselor Rail, watching from above, slammed his fist against the command rail. Impossible. It obeys him on instinct. Another officer whispered, We trained Tharnak to ignore pain. But this boy's voice, it stops him cold. On the ground, Eli ran forward, arms wide. "Don't take me away from him. He's not hurting anyone." The lead soldier hesitated. His scanner was glitching. No threat detected. No weapon present. Only a heartbeat, and it was sensed. With the dragons, Tharnak stepped between Eli and the invaders, lowering his head. But this time, he did not growl. He bowed, one claw forward, one wing shielding the child. And then, as if offering a message no one could mistake, he lowered his body completely, pressing his chest to the ground, so the mark on his scales, glowing softly from the boy's kiss, faced the soldiers. Rail watched the live feed. "Pull them back," he said at last. "But pull them back if we fire. The galaxy burns." And so they left, not defeated. But changed, because they had seen something terrifying. Not power, not rage, but love that could command power. That night, under alien stars, Eli sat beside Tharnak and whispered, "Thank you for not hurting them." Tharnak breathed softly. The jungle, once a battlefield, was quiet again. But far away, in council rooms and war chambers, a question echoed louder than any roar. What happens when the boy grows up? Asterisk, they called it foolish. They called it dangerous. They asked the same question over and over. Why would a human child kiss a monster? And when Eli finally answered, the galaxy went silent. The broadcast was unplanned. A single alien reporter, brave or curious, snuck a mic drone into the jungle perimeter. She expected roars, maybe heat, maybe fire. What she found instead was a boy barefoot in the grass, talking softly to the largest killer the galaxy had ever known. He was brushing leaves off Tharnak's snout like it was an old pet. The reporter zoomed in. The signal went live, and the world began to listen. "People keep asking me," Eli said, "why I kissed him." He looked up, straight into the drone's lens. His voice was soft, steady, because he looked like he needed it. The jungle wind blew through the trees. The dragon blinked slowly, as if remembering. Eli placed his hand gently on the glowing mark once more. "I've seen people run away from scary things my whole life," he said. "Big dogs, wild animals, mean faces. Monsters." He swallowed, eyes growing misty. "But sometimes monsters cry too. They just hide it better." In a secret galactic council chamber, leaders from 12 systems watched in stunned silence. "Is he manipulating it?" One whispered. "No," said Counselor Rail, shaking his head. "He's understood it." Eli sat cross-legged in the grass. Now, the great dragon coiled around him like a mountain range. "You think it's just a beast," Eli said, "but when I looked at his face, I didn't see anger." He looked up again. "I saw someone tired." The camera drifted closer, unmoving. "I think nobody ever showed him gentleness. They just kept fighting and shouting and trying to trap him." Eli smiled faintly. "So, I tried something else." The image went viral across galaxies. A meme on some planets, a sacred clip on others. Child still missing his 2 front teeth explaining peace to a civilization built on fear. Asterisk and Tharnak? The monster? He didn't speak, but his actions said everything. He lay beside Eli, silent, watching, at peace. For the first time in 1,000 years, he didn't feel like a weapon. He felt seen. Later that night, alone beneath alien stars, Eli whispered, "You know, you remind me of me." Tharnak lifted his head. "I get scared too," Eli said. "Sometimes I don't show it, but I feel it, all the time." A single tear slid down his cheek. "But you made me feel safe. So I wanted to make you feel safe too." Far away, deep inside an ancient archive, an old alien sage closed his eyes and whispered. The kiss was not an act of courage. It was an invitation, for the monster to feel human. And now, the galaxy waited. Because no longer was Tharnok a symbol of war. He had become a symbol of something far more dangerous to tyrants and empires. Hope. Asterisk. The stars remember them, not as kings, not as soldiers, but as a boy and his dragon, and the day the galaxy changed. Eli didn't leave with soldiers. He didn't return on a throne. He didn't give speeches or raise flags. He left the jungle riding on the back of a creature the universe once called the Ender of Worlds, and the only thing in his hands was a single flower he picked for it. They didn't storm the city. They landed gently in the capital gardens of Varellan Prime, the most advanced planet in the Council Ring. Children ran to the landing pad, ignoring guards, climbing statues just to glimpse what had become legend. And then they saw it, a black-scaled dragon, wings folded like resting mountains, and the human child, fast asleep on its back. Reporters whispered. Leaders bowed. But Eli just yawned. You got us here safe. Tar, he said sleepily. Told you we'd make it. Tharnok, the beast who once crushed battle fleets with a single roar. Purred. It was soft, deep, like old stone being warmed by the sun. Inside the grand chamber, council members tried to find words. Rail stood first. He looked at the boy, then at the dragon. We do not know what to call this bond, he said carefully. It's not science, whispered one scientist. It's not magic, muttered a warrior. It's not power, said a priest. Eli looked at them all. It's kindness, he said, and the room fell silent. In the weeks that followed, weapons were put away. Peace talks began, real ones. Old empires reached across lines. They had once bombed into craters, because if a monster could become gentle, what excuse did they have? Eli didn't stay in palaces. He returned to Earth quietly. But Tharnok stayed close, watching from orbit, a giant shadow that became a protector, not a threat. And sometimes at night, Eli would walk out under the stars and whisper, I'm still here. And the stars would shimmer, and somewhere beyond the moon, a great dragon would rumble back. Centuries later, children across the galaxy still read the story. They say, the monster who became more than a weapon, the child who saw past the fangs, the kiss that healed a legend. And in carved stone, a cross. Temples, schools, and spaceports. 5 words remain. He kissed the monster's nose. The end. Asterisk.